Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. Sorry, I've had a bit of a nightmare over the last 2 or 3 days because my YouTube, for whatever reason, hopefully it was just a technical issue with YouTube, which I've sorted. I hope I sent some feedback, but it wasn't uploading properly. So, anywho, I'll say it's your boy M.K.S with back another video. Hope to do my regular intro, but yeah, I'll try not to waffle too much. I'm sure there were some things I was going to say, but I completely forgot now. But yeah, I've been trying to do this video for the last 2 or 3 days, but I'll say there was something wrong with the with my YouTube. Like I couldn't even comment on other people's videos or like the videos properly with that. It kept signing me out as well. So hopefully that issue has gone away now and for good. But anyway, here is another one of my videos about an Italian football team that I love. As I say, I love all the Italian football teams. So a while back I did one about Roma and how I would love for Roma to be, because their nickname is the Giallorossi. Due to my alliterations, I was talking about how I would love for Roma to potentially be the next or the new Galacticos, but this time I thought I'd talk about Genoa again because it begins with G. I made a video of it also on Facebook because I couldn't load to YouTube. So, but yeah, anyway, I hope people out there enjoy it, especially fans of Italian football generally, and in particular Genoa fans. And as ever, I'd love to hear what people think or read what people think. Hopefully, polite comments. But as I say, freedom of speech. Anyway, I'm going to try and stop waffling. I know I do waffle, but so here goes. So number one, I would love for general investors to invest in Genoa. If they do so, this could help towards the goal of helping Genoa to become as successful as possible. I'd love for Genoa to have good players in all possible positions, from the goalkeeper, defenders, midfielders, and strikers. And obviously that would help to become the next Galacticos. Sorry, but yeah. So having as much investment as possible would help to buy the best possible players in all possible positions and the best possible squad. I think it'd be cool if Genoa could become like the Galacticos, but with the Galacticos, they were not good. They were known to be not so good defensively, or the goalkeeper was not known to be so good. So I think it'd be cool if we had even the best possible. If we had even the best possible goalkeeper and defence as well, so good strength in all possible positions, became one of the best teams, perhaps. But due to my I wonder if this is a dyslexia trait, like imagining every possibility. So I suppose the idea is sort of contradicting itself because, or I'm sort of contradicting myself because I said for it to happen for Roma or Genoa, but either one, it would be pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to move on because I don't want the video to be too long. But number two, I think it'd be great if companies that begin with G, like Goldman Sachs, Google, General Electric, General Motors, and companies like that invested in Genoa. And admittedly, I'm not hugely clued up on General Electric or General Motors or companies like that. It's just like due to my alliterations and things like that. But I know they were big companies, and I think for whatever reason they went downhill. But it would be pretty cool if it'd be pretty cool if major investors invested, and if they became some of the biggest companies or whatnot, and they could do this as part of their PR, obviously looking at what is in it for them. Number three, as I say, as many companies that begin with G as possible, but again, general investors investing and sponsors sponsoring Genoa so they get as much money as possible. That would help towards this goal, hopefully. Number four, I was even thinking like Geneva, due to the Geneva Convention. I googled it and because I thought of like the Geneva Convention, but I know it's like famous for human rights, but it also apparently it's the second biggest city in Switzerland, and it's also like a financial hub where a lot of the big companies are. So I think it'd be pretty cool if those companies invested in the Italian football teams like Genoa. And lost my train of thought. Sorry. But as I mentioned on my Facebook video as well, I tried to keep this one a bit different, but I think it'd be cool if Mediterranean countries generally, as well as Middle Eastern countries, the Eurasian nations, and the transcontinental countries generally, were like learned from the Swiss and avoided wars, even like worked towards ending wars or like limiting wars or like diplomacy basically, so they can cut wars and things like that. I think that would be pretty cool. Again, it probably is another one of my pipe dreams, but I think it would be pretty cool. As someone who loves peace myself, I think it would be pretty cool if like those countries, Eurasian, transcontinental, Mid-Eastern and Mediterranean nations, all together were like sort of network together towards peace and tackling wars, and instead of going to war, they would work towards peace and diplomacy. And I think that hopefully the markets will reward them because people will buy from those countries. Perhaps maybe if that would make peace pay, and I think that's a great way to make peace. And maybe people could invest in football teams instead of wars or things like that. So like instead of profiting from wars, they can profit from football. So that would be like football for good. But yeah, so I thought it'd be an interesting idea, as it's like Geneva also begins with G, as I say, going on the alliteration sort of theme. I know I'm nuts. But number 5, as I say, as many companies as possible, general investors, companies that begin with G. Excuse me, sorry, and that sort of thing. Number 6. I think it'd be cool if Genoa could like invite those investors and like discuss with them what sort Genoa and other Italian teams as well, Celtic, could invite people to like invite investors or find ways to contact investors and find ways that they could have a minority share in the club, like if so many companies have an equity in the club, and other Italian clubs perhaps. But yeah, I think it'd be great if they could bring those potential wealthy owners and shareholders and even NGOs and charities and international organizations to look at how to encourage investment into Genoa, and possibly like even people could hide their taxes or their legally, I mean, most importantly, but maybe there could be a way like where companies wouldn't have to pay so much tax because they can donate to Italian teams like Genoa and of course Celtic, and also as a libertarian myself and a fan of Italian football, but also like even wealth, they could put wealth in, again legally, like in the case of things like divorces or things like that could go wrong, they would have money there legally that could be untouched, which they could tap into in the future without it being lost through like taxes or divorces or whatever other costs they might have, that unforeseen costs or whatever. Number 7, again, it'd be great, I think, for Genoa to have a partnership with Celtic, and maybe whoever invests in one could invest in the other. Sorry if I'm repeating a lot of these ideas. For any people who watch my Facebook one, I do apologize if I'm repeating a lot of these ideas because I do have these sort of patterns and things like that. Number 8, I think it'd be great for Genoa to, whoever's involved in Genoa, including investors, shareholders, sponsors, managers, coaches, players, and whoever else is involved in the club, as I say, shareholders, equity holders, and that sort of thing, to connect with the fans and talk about their passions and what they want to see Genoa achieve. Number 9, I'm not hugely involved in or whatnot the LGBTQ sort of thing. I don't want to offend anyone, but I think it would be interesting if GAP, which I think stands for Gay and Proud, actually invested in Genoa. Again, going back to the alliterations thing, just because it starts with G, and it could be like GAP for Genoa, due to another pattern I have, which is like GAP has 3 letters, and then, or it's an acronym of 3 letters, and then 4 would be the 4th in the sentence. So that's another one of my patterns. So I think it'd be cool if there was like GAP for Genoa and things like that, as well as say other companies, even Google and companies like that, big companies. And number 10, I think it'd be cool if games companies, toy makers, and companies involved in like making things for children or family-friendly things or cartoons or whatnot were involved in investing in and sponsoring, and of course sponsoring Genoa, and possibly helping them to like have football academies and encouraging children to get to practice playing football and get out and outdoors and like play football and get fit and have better diets, which hopefully will be a mutual benefit for those companies as well as Genoa as well. Hopefully all these ideas. And I think it'd be cool if 10% of any money Genoa has goes to buying better players, 10% goes into investing in younger players, which hopefully, especially like at least half of them being Italian, would hopefully help for the national team, including having local people from Genoa to play for, to train for the team in the future, and also like 10% towards marketing and branding and having like supporters clubs, Genoa sports clubs, UCSs, all around the world. So like people around the world could fall in love with Genoa or support Genoa and follow Genoa and things like that, as well as other Italian teams, and Celtic. And Thames, and like, so the money going into marketing and branding, like half of that could go towards so effectively out of all the money, 5% would go towards marketing and branding generally, and 5% of that would go towards, or 5% would go towards supporters clubs. I hope that made sense. And also having its own foundation, which helps people, especially young people, with training and skills and things like that. So as ever, I'd love to hear what you think. And sorry if my ideas are a bit quirky, but hopefully you find them interesting anyway. And maybe the fact they're quirky makes them even more interesting. And I am out. Peace and love.